Let's start off by saying that this might be gross and maybe you don't want to think about it, but not thinking about cholera won't make it disappear. Have you ever thought about what is in the water that we drink? Sometimes we forget how our water could be contaminated. Scientists used to think that if you couldn't see it, it wasn't there, but that's not true at all. In reality, bacteria, or tiny microorganisms, rule our world. One type of bacteria, known as Vibrio cholerae for its comma-like shape, causes the disease that we call cholera. So the big question is, how do they infect us? Cholera spreads through populations via the fecal-oral route. I told you it was gross. It is often referred to as a waterborne disease because it is frequently spread through contaminated water.
Cholera is an intestinal infection caused by a bacteria found in dirty water, in contaminated food, or in vegetables that have been irrigated with contaminated water. If you do not have access to potable water, it is necessary to treat the water to avoid infection. If you do not have access to safe drinking water and the water is turbid, you will need to filter it. Use a clean cloth as a sieve to strain the water. Let it stand until any residue settles to the bottom of the container. Next, boil the filtered water for a minimum of 5 minutes, allowing it to cool down in an airtight container before drinking.
In this segment, we're going to illustrate the genus Vibrio, which includes Vibrio cholerae and also includes the lower yield bacteria Vibrio parahemolyticus and vulnificus. The name of this drawing is Colonel Cholera's Base Camp. It takes place in a military camp in rural Southeast Asia. So let's start drawing the setting. The reason we chose Southeast Asia is because cholera is endemic to developing countries. And over here's the colonel. Kind of looks like a dictator, but he's not quite that cool yet. He's just a colonel. And right off the bat, the colonel signifies something about Vibrio that we have to know. The genus Vibrio is a comma-shaped bacteria. Helicobacter and Campylobacter have a very similar shape, but they're slightly more helical or spiral. So comma-shaped is a buzzword specifically for Vibrio. And to represent this, we gave our dictator a very sexy comma-shaped mustache. For the most part in this video, we'll be talking about the species Vibrio cholerae, which causes cholera. And if you remember, that's family in the computer game.
Trail. But cholera causes profuse watery diarrhea. And I mean profuse. Sometimes even 10 to 20 liters a day.
This is the story of how cholera changed my village. Tiny germs of cholera, too small to see, spread through the river. So small, yet so dangerous. Without realizing, women carried cholera home in the water. Flies carried cholera on their feet. Unwashed hands spread it too. We swallowed cholera germs in our water, on our food, and on our fingers. It happened so fast. By morning, my father was very sick. He had diarrhea that looked like rainwater and poured out of him. I was so scared. I went for help.